Picture someone. They wake up in the morning with 100 ideas in their head, a business, a book, a plan that could change everything. They lie there for a few minutes feeling the electricity of it all. Today is the day, today is different. Then nothing happens, not because they forgot, not because they stopped caring. The idea is still there, burning quietly in the back of their mind at 11 p.m. when they're watching something they don't even want to watch. Doing nothing. Feeling vaguely ashamed of themselves. That person is you. And the story of why is one of the strangest things science has ever found inside the human brain. This isn't a story about laziness. Lazy people don't lie awake at night haunted by the things they haven't done yet. Lazy people don't feel the particular, specific pain of wanting something badly and doing nothing about it at the exact same time. What you have is something different, something with a name, something that researchers have been trying to understand for decades, and what they found will change the way you see yourself completely. Let's start at the beginning. Not your beginning. The beginning of the brain that you inherited. Your brain was not built for goals. It was not built for ambition or 5-year plans or morning routines. It was built for one thing only: survival. And for most of human history, survival meant one rule above all else. Do not waste energy. Every calorie spent on something that didn't lead directly to food, shelter, or safety was a calorie that could kill you in a bad winter. Your brain learned this over hundreds of thousands of years, and it learned it so well that the lesson is still running inside you right now, every single day, whether you want it to or not. Neuroscientist Andrew Huberman describes this as the brain's default energy conservation mode. Your nervous system is always quietly calculating the cost of every action against its expected reward. When the reward is unclear, distant, or uncertain, the brain raises the cost. It doesn't do this on purpose. It doesn't do this to stop you. It does this because for almost all of human history, uncertain rewards meant danger, and danger meant stay still. You feel that as resistance, as the sudden urge to check your phone, as the strange heaviness that descends the moment you sit down to do the thing you said you wanted to do. It doesn't feel like a survival instinct. It feels like a personal failure. But it is not. It is a 200,000-year-old system trying to protect you from a world that no longer exists. Now here's where it gets interesting. Because ambition is also ancient. The drive to build something, to reach for more, to imagine a future that doesn't exist yet, and then try to drag it into reality, that drive is just as old as the conservation instinct. They evolved together. And for most of human history, they worked together too. When the reward was immediate and concrete, like food just over that hill, or a shelter that needed building before nightfall, the ambition fired and the conservation instinct stepped back. The two systems balanced each other perfectly. The problem is the modern world broke that balance. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi spent his career studying this exact tension. He found that human beings are wired for what he called flow, a state where effort and reward are closely connected, where the action and the outcome are close enough together that the brain can see the line between them clearly. In flow, the conservation instinct goes quiet. The ambition takes over completely. You stop feeling the resistance. Time disappears. This is what it feels like to be fully alive, he wrote. And the tragedy of modern ambitious people is that they know this feeling exists, they've touched it before, and they spend most of their lives unable to get back to it. Why? Because the things they want most are enormous, abstract. The reward is years away, and the brain, looking at a goal that big, a book, a company, a transformation, calculates the distance between now and the outcome and quietly decides not worth the energy. Not safe, not yet. So the loop begins, you dream at night. You make plans in the shower. You feel the surge of certainty that this time will be different. Then you sit down to begin, and the brain fires its alarm, and the resistance hits, and you find yourself doing anything else at all. And then comes the guilt, and the guilt makes starting even harder next time, because now the action is associated not just with uncertainty, but with shame. The brain adds that cost to the calculation, and the loop tightens. Researcher Brené Brown has written extensively about this particular trap. She calls it the vulnerability hangover of ambition. The moment you admit to yourself that you want something, really want it, you have to face the possibility of falling short of it. And for many ambitious people, the unconscious solution to that fear is brilliant and completely self defeating. If you never fully start, you can never fully fail. The dream stays safe in the dream stage. The plan stays perfect on paper. The identity stays intact. You are still someone with potential. And potential, unlike results, can never disappoint anyone. This is not weakness. This is intelligence turned in on itself. But here is what nobody tells you. The solution is not motivation. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are unreliable. The solution is not discipline in the way most people imagine it, gritting your teeth and forcing your way through the resistance every morning. That approach burns out. The brain experiences it as a threat and builds stronger walls against it over time. The real solution is something smaller than you think. Neuroscientist B.J. Fogg spent years at Stanford studying behavior change and found something that changed the field entirely. He discovered that the brain does not respond to big decisions. It responds to small beginnings, not the plan, not the vision, not the commitment. The smallest possible action, a single sentence written, a single minute spent, a single step taken in the direction of the thing. Because that small action does something the grand plan never can, it shows the brain a completed loop. Action taken, cost low, something produced. And the brain, updated with this new information, lowers the cost estimate for next time, and the time after that, and slowly, the 200,000-year-old survival calculation begins to change. This is how you start. Not by becoming a different person, not by finding the motivation you've been waiting for, by becoming very small on purpose, by shrinking the first step until the brain's alarm cannot find it. You don't write the book today, you write one sentence. You don't build the company today. You make one call. You don't transform your life today. You do one thing, one tiny thing, and you do it before the resistance has time to calculate its cost. And here is something else that matters. You change your environment before you change yourself. The brain is lazy about this too, but in your favor this time. It follows the path of least resistance automatically. If the book is open on the desk and the phone is in the other room, the brain will drift toward the book. Not because you are disciplined, because it is closer. Huberman calls this environmental design, and it is one of the most powerful tools available to ambitious people who struggle to start. You stop fighting your instincts and start engineering the conditions that make the right action the easy action. And finally, you give yourself permission to do it badly. Perfectionism and ambition are almost always found together. Ambitious people have a vision so clear, so detailed, so bright in their minds, that the actual first draft, the actual first attempt, always looks terrible by comparison. So they wait. They wait for the conditions to be right, for the skill to be fully developed, for the confidence to arrive. Psychologist Carol Dweck spent decades showing that this is exactly backwards. The confidence doesn't come before the action. It comes from the action. Every imperfect thing you create teaches your brain something new, adjusts its calculations, builds the neural pathways that make the next attempt easier. The first draft is not the failure. The first draft is the foundation. You woke up this morning with ideas, plans, that electricity in your chest that doesn't have a name but feels like something important is possible. That feeling is not wrong. It is not naive. It is the same drive that built everything that has ever been built by a human being who was, like you, also waiting to feel ready. You will not feel ready. Nobody ever does. The ones who built things did it before they were ready, with their hands shaking and their plan incomplete, and their first attempt nowhere near the vision they had for it. Start small. Start now. Start before the brain has time to run its numbers. You have been dreaming long enough. Today, one sentence, 1 minute, one step, The electricity you felt this morning is still there. It was never the problem. The distance between who you are and who you want to be is not as wide as the resistance makes it feel. It is exactly one small action wide. And that action is waiting for you right now in the 5 seconds before the calculation begins. Take it.